You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Monday. Happy Moon Day. Who's ready for a new week, a fresh start? I'm going to walk you through the energy that's coming at us this week, day by day. We have a lot of conjunctions. This is a week full of conjunctions between a lot of different planets. So expect some intense energy. Don't worry though, like I said, we'll walk you through it today and we'll go through it day by day this week. But today is all about the Aquarius Moon. So we're going to talk through what connections the Aquarius Moon is making today, how that might make us feel, and then we'll go through the entire week. So let's just jump right in. But as we're coming off the weekend, good morning, George. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know how your weekend went, how the vibe is under this Aquarius Moon today. I know a lot of people are feeling the heaviness of the world. That's really been kind of dominating our collective energy over the past couple days. And if you're feeling that way, you're absolutely not alone. And actually today's transits will make us even more tapped into the collective energy than we normally might be. So let me pull up the chart and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you can see the moon is in Aquarius, right in the middle of Aquarius right now. And I mean, when we talk about all the conjunctions coming up this week, you can just see how many planets are packed into about a 60-degree range in the chart right now. So we have Venus and Mars still in a conjunction. That will be with us through the week and beyond. We have Mercury and Saturn getting very close to one another. We'll talk about that. We have the Sun and Jupiter coming close to one another. Again, another conjunction we have in the forecast. And the moon is transiting across all of these planets right now. So over the weekend, we had a conjunction between the moon, Venus, Mars, and Pluto all on Sunday. Definitely some intense emotional energy. Your cycle's beginning, cycle's ending emotionally. Maybe you felt that. And the moon will now make its way through the rest of this cluster of planets over the next couple days. So like I said, we'll go through it all, but just wanted to give you a snapshot of kind of why the energy is so intense this week. We have a ton of planets right next to each other. The moon in Aquarius actually is making us, like I said, more connected to the collective. So when the moon is in Aquarius, we tend to be more detached emotionally. We're kind of off in our own little world, marching to the beat of our own drum. But Aquarian energy is all about community, the collective, humanitarian causes. So when the moon is in Aquarius, we tend to be more focused on those things or more emotionally aware of humanitarian causes, of things, of the energy that's affecting all of us. And it's no secret that, you know, we're all experiencing the collective sadness, anxiety over everything that's going on in Ukraine and the situation there. So the Aquarius moon today is really going to keep the focus on the global stage. It's interesting because Aquarian energy is also about the individual and kind of being independent, doing your own thing. So there might feel like this juxtaposition today between you and your emotions and how you're feeling, and then energetically how you're tied to the situation that's going on, if that makes sense. One of my friends, Court Burns, who's also an astrologer, was talking about this last week, and just in the days following those initial attacks on Ukraine, how affected everybody was emotionally, energetically by that. And she said something that I think is pretty, I don't know, it was pretty spot on. She said, this is proof that energy is real. Something is happening all the way on the other side of the world, and we're all collectively feeling it. So the Aquarius moon really reminds us that we are all connected energetically, and even if we can't fully wrap our minds around what's going on, we can't fully take in all of the information, we don't have the emotional capacity, we're still very much affected by the sadness happening in the world right now. So not to be a downer, but I just want to give you permission to feel all the feelings, even if you don't understand why you're feeling them, or you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm not there, I have it good, I'm in a safe place. It's okay to feel that sadness, to hold that space. And it also, as we're more attuned to the collective energy, could make us feel more detached in close relationships. So, if you just need to take a beat today to process things on your own, or, just kind of try to make sense of your own emotions, that's okay too. Just full permission today to process however you need to process, to feel however you need to feel. The first connection the Aquarius moon made today was a square to Uranus. That happened at 5 a.m. Pacific time. So right as we're starting our week, right as we're starting our Monday, there almost is this urge to rebel or cause some sort of disruption. We almost feel this instinctive need to take action and do it in a way that's unique to us and that feels like it's in line with liberation, with this eccentricity, because Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius and the moon is in Aquarius. So this is a really intense Aquarian energy to start the day, where it's like, we need to rebel, we need to do our own thing, we need to share our unique perspective. And that square, that 90-degree angle, is very activating and almost forcing us to do that, to make waves. By 2 p.m. Pacific time, we start to talk about all the conjunctions going on this week. So jump ahead a couple hours here, and you'll see the moon forming a conjunction to Mercury just before this right now. So that happens at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And when the moon and Mercury meet up, there's a blending of our emotions and our rational mind. This can make us feel like we can express our emotions more easily, like we can express our perspective more easily. Our intellect and our emotions are working well together actually at this moment. So it could be hard to hold yourself back from expressing how you feel, especially with all the craziness happening in the world by this afternoon. Especially when we're talking about this Aquarian energy, these two planets meeting up in Aquarius. It's very much about the global and collective energy. I keep saying that, but that's really the entire energy of Monday is about the global stage, about the collective energy. We're also really invested in causes we care about under an Aquarius moon, and we'll want to express our feelings. We'll want to share information that supports those causes that we care about. So really, that's all fine and dandy. I think it's great if you are feeling called to share about an organization that would help the situation going on in Ukraine, or any humanitarian cause that's close to your heart. We'll really be feeling the urge to do that this afternoon. But because Mercury and the moon are in Aquarius, Aquarius is a fixed sign. The key here is to keep an open mind, keep an open perspective, be open to new information coming in as well. Not just speaking and sharing, but also receiving and integrating any new information that you receive today. Take a beat, slow down before you become a keyboard warrior. This energy, Aquarian energy, is also very focused on technology, and it can make it easier to express ourselves through technology, which is a beautiful thing. We can connect with each other all around the world. It's a huge reason why there's such a global awareness of the events happening right now, and almost a transparency, because people have access to information and seeing images minute by minute coming out of the other side of the world. However, because the moon and Mercury are meeting up, we're feeling more expressive. Just try not to be that keyboard warrior. Try not to use technology as your sounding board. Try not to blurt out your feelings or type out your feelings just because you have the urge to get them out. Like, really try to be intentional about the information you're putting out, about the information you're receiving, and make sure it feels aligned before you share anything. Make sure it's something you really want to permanently be on the internet forever, right? Because the internet is a permanent place. I guess you can delete comments, but we don't want to ruffle any feathers unnecessarily, okay? We're all going through enough right now. So definitely going to be learning new information, sharing new information by the middle of the day today. And then by this evening, 5 p.m., we have another conjunction between the moon and Saturn. So we'll jump ahead and you can see when the moon moves to 18 degrees, it's at the same spot in the sky as Saturn in Aquarius. Now, this can really put a damper on our mood. Saturn is known as the Great Malefic, so it's the planet most commonly associated with negativity, worrying, limits, boundaries. Now, we need those things for a reason, because Saturn is kind of a builder and it wants us to have limits. It wants us to have boundaries so we can have a solid structure and a solid foundation. But when it comes to our emotional state, this can make us feel more serious, even sad. It really limits our emotions. We're more sensitive to negative energy as well when the moon meets up with Saturn tonight. And we're more aware of our own limitations as individuals as well. This could quite literally, with this happening in Aquarius, feel like, we want to do something, we want to help, but we're just kind of helpless. We as individuals can't really do a whole lot about what's happening, the conflict playing out on the other side of the world. But we can use Saturn's influence to our advantage, 5 p.m. Pacific time this evening, by slowing down, taking a step back, and remembering it's not our responsibility necessarily to save the world. It's not our burden to take on as individuals. Yes, we can be global citizens, we can care, we can share information that we believe is helpful, but remember, it's not your job to take on the sadness happening in the world. It's not your job to claim responsibility. I know now in the information age, sometimes when there's a global crisis, it feels like we have to speak up, we have to speak out, we have to have an opinion on it because we're all on social media, we all have our own platform. But remember, if that feels too heavy for you, if it doesn't feel aligned for you, you have no obligation, no duty to share how you're feeling about this. And you have no responsibility to share that online or with other people either. This could just be a time when the moon forms a conjunction to Saturn that you're processing. You're just kind of taking some time alone to recalibrate. So, don't be surprised if by the end of the day there's an air of sadness or even loneliness in a way. This could be because maybe there are beliefs that are different from yours that are being expressed among the people you love. This could be just because you don't feel like anybody else is feeling how you're feeling. Of course, that's not true, but sometimes we can convince ourselves of that. So middle end of the day today, our emotions are really going to be connected all day, especially to what's playing out, what the collective energy is feeling. And the information we received today, I know that there's supposed to be a meeting at the Belarus border about this Ukraine situation. So I do believe there should be new information coming out by the middle of the day. I looked online and I haven't seen anything recently. So if you know an update, let me know in the comments. But I just get the feeling from looking at today's forecast that we're going to get some new information. There's going to be some new developments when the moon forms a conjunction to Mercury about 2 p.m. And then there will be some processing, maybe some sadness, maybe some seriousness. We're more aware of the limitations, the boundaries by the end of the day today, probably coming out of whatever updates we receive. So Today is a day we're all kind of in the same boat. A lot of Aquarian energy. All of our transits are about the moon in Aquarius today. Then at 6 p.m. after the moon meets up with Saturn, it goes void until 1 p.m. tomorrow. So we have this period, this lull, essentially. A void moon is when the moon isn't making any other connections until it enters a new sign. So for quite a long time, 6 p.m. tonight to 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, the moon is void. And this is a time to rest, to relax, to integrate, not a time to start new projects. Nothing significant will come from anything started during this time. Now, when it comes to the conflict playing out, a void moon can actually be a good thing because it means that hopefully nothing significant will come from any of the moves happening between tonight and tomorrow afternoon, meaning hopefully the conflict dies down. Hopefully we have a lull, a period of peace. That's the vision I'm holding. That's the energy that the transits are showing. So let's hope that that is true. Okay, yeah, delegations for a ceasefire are wrapping up today. I know that there were talks and they were supposed to be peaceful at, I believe, the Belarus border. So I'm really feeling that it's probably happening right now. You have to think they're about 8-9 hours ahead of us, maybe even farther. I don't know the exact time zone for Ukraine. But like I said, by this afternoon, the information that comes out of those talks will probably be spread across the world. We'll be processing it. Our emotions will be aligned with it as the moon conjuncts to Mercury or forms a conjunction to Mercury. And then by tonight, we're processing. We're aware of the seriousness of the situation. Maybe there's sadness. Who knows? And then a lull, a peaceful lull, hopefully. Let's just all take a moment and visualize a nice period of peace, not for us, but for the people who are caught in the middle of this conflict. And for those of you who don't come here for political news, I hear you. I normally don't talk about these things, but today with so much Aquarian energy, we can't deny that all of our emotions are being affected by the global energy. So that's why I'm diving so deep into this right now. And if you are somebody who's curious and you want to learn more about the situation playing out in Ukraine and really how we got to this point, tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. to my next episode of The Spiritual Journalist. A lot of you, when I first brought up what was happening in Ukraine last week, expressed appreciation, expressed interest in learning more. So I actually reached out to one of my former journalism professors from college. She used to live and report in Ukraine. And while we were in her class, we were learning about this conflict between Russia and Ukraine. This was almost 10 years ago now. So she's been very aware and tied into the developments. She has friends still in Ukraine, and she also has reported from Chernobyl. She has a wealth of knowledge that she's going to share, but more importantly, she has experience to share about the people of Ukraine, about what this means for them and what it was like to live there, what the culture is like. So if you have questions, put them in the comments below, DM me on Instagram. It's going to be a live conversation, and you're welcome to join us and ask your questions directly to her as well. So now let's look at the week ahead, because all these conjunctions with the moon are really just the beginning. Let's start with the planets because, like I said, this is a week of conjunctions. Kind of wild. So today we have the moon forming a conjunction to Mercury and Saturn. We talked all about that. Tomorrow the sun forms a supportive angle to Uranus. This is a shift of awareness. This could look like maybe more disruption, rebellion, but it's a supportive angle. So the hope and the goal here is that any shifts we see, any rebellion or disruption we see will actually be positive and support awareness, support vitality with the sun being involved in this sextile. And then Wednesday, Mercury forms a conjunction to Saturn, yet another conjunction. This could make us a little bit more worried or overanalyzing, overthinking. We're maybe thinking more negatively with the moon forming a conjunction to Saturn. Now, this can be helpful because it can help us be more analytical. We can be more practical in our thinking. So it's not all negative when Mercury forms a conjunction to Saturn. However, it'll be easier to worry or think about the negative by Wednesday. By Thursday, that Venus-Mars conjunction meets up with Pluto in Capricorn. Whoa. This is the third time Venus has come into a conjunction with Pluto, because you remember at the beginning of the year, Venus was retrograde, and this time Mars is with her. This looks like intensity when it comes to attraction. This could be sexual intensity. It could be romantic intensity. It could be this moment of truth in a relationship. It could be a death or an ending. It could be a rebirth. This is a pivotal moment when it comes to love and when it comes to finances, but especially in relationships, as Venus and Mars are both coming into this conjunction. This is like, this also internally, if you're not in a romantic relationship or that doesn't apply to you right now, this could be kind of a death and rebirth or a renewal of your own balance between masculine and feminine energies. It's definitely going to be bold and intense by Thursday with these three planets meeting up in Capricorn. And we're definitely going to be thinking about long-term goals, big picture, long-term desires, what we really want. And the truth will be hard to ignore this Thursday. Then Friday, we have another conjunction, this time between the moon and Chiron, which could bring up some wounds, but also offers an opportunity for healing. So that's beautiful. Saturday, you guessed it, another conjunction between the sun and Jupiter. This is hope. This is abundance. This is a really positive, beautiful energy. And on the same day, Venus and Mars are entering Aquarius, helping us envision the future, look to the future when it comes to our relationships, when it comes to love, when it comes to our motivations, and not just personally, but collectively with Venus and Mars and Aquarius. We'll all be more aware of the collective desires and motivations. But the sun forming a conjunction to Jupiter on the same day on Saturday allows us to do so through a hopeful lens, through rose-colored glasses, and allows us to be optimistic about the future and about our desires. And then on Sunday, no conjunction, but Mercury forms a trine to Lilith. This could make us a little bitchier, a little bolder in our expression on Sunday. We might be expressing boundaries or frustrations, even like a little bit of a rebellious energy by Sunday. Luckily, we're still under that Sun-Jupiter conjunction pulling away from each other. So that gives us a backdrop of positivity, which is nice, because anytime Lilith is involved, feistiness is afoot. So that's what's going on with the planets. The moon is also heating up this week because we have a new moon in the middle of the week. So today the moon is in Aquarius. Tomorrow it moves into Pisces. Tomorrow afternoon, that's where the new moon will be on Wednesday. We'll go deep into what a new moon in Pisces means on our Wednesday live stream. But as we're looking at this intense week that we have, Pisces has a very healing energy. It allows for closure. It allows for endings. And more than that, it allows for us to tap into a power greater than ourselves. It asks us to have faith. The new moon in Pisces could be a moment where we can all just lean into spirituality, lean into faith, lean into a power greater than our understanding, and hopefully find some healing for ourselves individually and for the world. I really believe if we can all tap into a loving energy, if we can all align with love, huge vibrational shifts can happen. So looking ahead to Wednesday, I'm feeling very hopeful. And I keep telling you, these are really intense transits this week, and intensity doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, right? Intensity can be a good thing. When we look at, I'll go back to the planets really quickly. When we look at this Venus-Mars conjunction with Pluto on Thursday, this is coming off of Wednesday's new moon. This could be a rebirth, okay, of love, of desire, of masculine and feminine unity, masculine and feminine energies working together. A lot of times when we talk about war, Masculine and feminine energies come out in the coverage. I've seen headlines about women in parts of the world standing up, asking the women of Russia to stand up for Ukraine. So anyway, you know, masculine, feminine is definitely part of the headlines of the news, because male and female roles end up coming up when we talk about war, when we talk about who's fighting, who's defending, who's being sent to a safe zone, all those things. So I feel like Thursday, it's also 3-3 on Thursday, which is kind of nice. And this conjunction to Pluto could bring intensity in as far as a death wave, but it also has the potential for a rebirth. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about intensity. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad. It's just powerful. It's a very powerful transit coming off of the new moon in Pisces on Wednesday. And my hope, just putting this out to the universe, is that if everybody can align with love, if everybody can put intentions out there for peace and for harmony and for closure, healing, then maybe that conjunction to Pluto on Thursday will be that rebirth. So let's just all keep the faith this week. The moon moves into Aries on Thursday, stays in Aries through Saturday, forming some intense, again, that word, intense, forming some, with that conjunction to Chiron on Friday. It could be very activating, maybe a little bit aggressive with the moon in Aries Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Could be power struggles by Saturday. So just keep that in mind. And then Sunday, the moon moves into Taurus, helps us get nice and cozy, get grounded ahead of next week. So that's a look ahead. What's going on this week? Hi, Susan. Good to see you. Let's do a wrap up of today's energy, and then we will pull a card. So we start the week with the moon in Aquarius, making us very aware of the collective energy. Aquarian energy asks us to pay attention to what's happening on the global stage. We are more emotionally tied to humanitarian causes we care about. We started Monday with the Aquarius Moon squaring off to Uranus in Taurus, forcing this energy of rebellion, making us feel this intense need for change. We want to make waves when the moon squares off to Uranus. By the middle of the day today, the moon meets up with Mercury in Aquarius. It'll be hard to hold ourselves back from expressing our feelings about what's happening collectively. New information could come in the middle of the day today that activates our emotions. We are more aware and invested again in humanitarian causes and the energy that's affecting the collective. And the key here is to remain open to new information and really take a pause, take a beat before you share your own information or your own perspective. But we'll want to do that when the moon meets up with Mercury. We will want to share how we're feeling. By 5 p.m. Pacific time, the moon makes another conjunction to Saturn. This can put a damper on our mood and make us more emotionally aware of limits and boundaries. That information we take in earlier in the day could leave us feeling a little sad or serious. So we can use this energy, this conjunction, to our advantage by slowing down, taking a step back, and remembering it's not our responsibility, it's not our duty alone to save the world. All we can do is our best, is put out good energy for the collective energy and take care of ourselves so that we can show up for a better world. So when the moon meets up with Saturn, remember, it's not your job alone to fix everything. This makes us more aware of our own limitations as individuals. Then the moon goes void from 6 p.m. tonight to 1 p.m. tomorrow, bringing a welcome lull of the energy, a nice time to slow down, find some peace, let things sink in, integrate any new information, any new emotions before the moon moves into Pisces tomorrow afternoon. And hopefully this void moon from tonight to tomorrow afternoon brings peace with the conflict happening around the world as well. So that's what's going on today. Let's pull a card. I'm going to pull from the Moonology deck, since today is all about the Aquarius Moon. And as always, this is your time to ask questions. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know if there's any new information that's coming down, because I don't have the news in front of me at the moment. And let me know how your weekend was. I'm curious. So, shuffle this up, pulling up the guidebook as well. And we'll ask, what do we need to know today? What messages from Spirit need to come through? We got the new moon card, and we have a new moon in Pisces this week. So beautiful. And it says a new start is coming. New moon. Okay, so let me find the description in the guidebook to see what other messages are coming through, but already just feels so aligned. It's on page number 24. So let me scroll there and see what it says. Okay. New moon, a new start is coming. There is a yes coming your way. This is one of the most auspicious cards in the deck. It's totally positive and suggests something new and exciting is developing. The situation you're asking about is blessed, and you are on target to achieve your goals. The message from the universe is that you're starting all over again in some way, but that on a new or better course, or just feeling more positive about achieving your desired outcome. If you're feeling stagnant, this card reminds you that life goes in cycles, and you're moving into a new cycle now. This is a time to wipe the slate clean. If the situation you asked about has become toxic, either that will clear up now or something totally new and fresh is on its way. This is so spot on, not only with the new moon in Pisces, which is allowing for closure, endings, healing, but also, again, the next day we have this conjunction between Venus, Mars, and Pluto, which is an ending and beginning of cycles. So this is just so on point for everything we just talked about, looking to the week ahead. And the mantra it gives is, I see it when I believe it. I see it when I believe it. So remember that. We have to believe and envision in peace, in harmony, before we can truly see it. We have to put the energy of love and of peace out before it can really come to fruition. Additional meanings for this card: a new start is on its way. You'll soon start to feel more hopeful about getting what you want. Your belief that your dreams can manifest is working well. And forget about the past. Forget about the past. That's another meaning coming through for this card. And the last little teaching it gives in the guidebook is this. The new moon marks the start of the waxing cycle and the midpoint of the dark moon. It's a dark and veiled time when the moon is invisible, and a time of rebirth. It's a time that witches do their work, making wishes, laying down intentions for the new cycle, and intensely, there's that word again, an intensely magical time when it's easier to pierce the veil to other worlds. Pisces is the most spiritual sign. It's that last sign before the end of the zodiac, commonly associated with being able to work with the veil, move through the veil. And then again, that conjunction with Pluto is that intensity, allowing for rebirth. This week is a big week, not only personally, but collectively. We should, by the end of the week, see a major shift in energy, renewed hope when the sun meets up with Jupiter on Saturday. So if the I can't even talk. If the energy feels intense right now, if it feels overwhelming, it's okay. Give yourself some grace. We're all moving through it together. And by the end of the week, we should have renewed hope. We have a new beginning. A new start is coming under this new moon. Hi there. All right. That's going to do it for me on this Monday. I'm just going to leave you with that beautiful message that came through in our oracle card pull, and remind you that you can only control your own energy. You can only control your own emotions, but doing so can actually have a huge impact on the collective energy. So please remember that. Please put out love for yourself, put out love for the people around you, and put out love for the world today and through this week. The world could use a little bit more love right now, and your energy is important, it's powerful, and it's needed. So with that, I'm going to wrap this up, but I will see you right back here tomorrow morning to talk about the next wave of energy coming in. And also, again, we have another episode of The Spiritual Journalist tomorrow, Tuesday, March 1st at 1 p.m., we're talking with a former journalism professor of mine who used to live and work in Ukraine. She's going to share her perspective on this situation and hopefully answer any questions that you have. So let me know what you would like to learn from her as I'm developing our conversation, and please join us live if you can to ask your questions. I'll see you right back here tomorrow morning, but until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.